Hello and welcome everyone to the Wednesday, September 13th edition of the Biweekly SIG Contributor Experience Meeting. I'm your host, Caslin Fields. And to start things off, a reminder, as usual, that we do operate under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. Also, at the beginning of the meeting, we like to offer the opportunity for any new folks on the call to introduce themselves. I'm not sure if we have anyone new today, but if you would like to say hello, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about why you're here. You may do so now. You may also do so in the chat. You also don't have to do so at all because it's totally optional. So I'll leave that open for a minute if you would like to introduce yourself. Also gives me a second to clear my throat. If there is anyone new on, which I don't think there is, but if anyone wants to say hello, excellent. We've got Laura saying hello in the chat. Welcome, Laura. Welcome to do so at any time, though. We have folks join in. All right. Love it. Love the chat. Chat is great. Welcome, Noah. All right, we'll hop into our regular agenda then. Our first matter of business is events, starting with the Contributor Summit. Would anyone like to start off with an overview of where that is? Screamies in the notes.
That seems accurate, I think. If I recall correctly, because Monday was so long ago, that things are progressing smoothly. The only major issue that I think is outstanding right now is getting the contributor social up and running based on tracking down locations that are not booked or crazy expensive. But other than that, things are going well. CFP is coming to a close soon, so there should be reminders about the CFP. Did I miss anything, Josh?
No, that's about it. Yeah, the main thing I'm worried about is the social because LF events is a little bit understaffed and they did not get to looking for a venue in a timely fashion.
I would
and
say
now there aren't a lot of venues left. So, yeah.
Brienne did reply to me about the place that I had asked about, and I'm trying to find. She did reach out to the Chicago Illuminating Company, that other one that I know is available. So hopefully she had reached out. She hasn't, like last Friday, she reached out to them. So I don't know if she's gotten word back yet. So hopefully that one will go through. And that one has an outdoor space as well as an indoor space for people who are worried.
Yeah, if that doesn't work out, I did find out that there's actually quite a large capacity drag bar in that neighborhood. Now that might be out of budget for us, but it would certainly make planning activities for the social easier.
That would work.
Yeah.
This sounds like it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Also, I'll mention the we're finalizing a bunch of illustrations and art for various things. I don't know if there's actually anything important to mention there, but that's what's on my mind.
Just because you drew all of it, yes.
Because I drew all of them.
Yeah.
I don't think that's actually important.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have some awesome swag for it.
Might have a personal stake in that.
Yeah.
The
like to work on that. Cool. I think that's it for the summit, unless anyone has any questions, comments, concerns. Cool. Interesting. Huh. Finalizing in British English. Today we learned that the notes doc for this meeting is set to British English for its spell checking. Fascinating.
Really?
All right. So if we don't have any other items on the contributor summit, and I don't think we have any other events right now. There is a contributor summit that's going to be happening with KubeCon Shanghai, but I don't think anyone from our group is involved with that. So
that one's going to be more of a contributor day than a large event.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty small event. And I think the folks organizing the contributor summit are just local contributors. So
yeah.
Not from no one from our usual group, I think. Cool. All right, so we'll move on to mentoring. Any updates there? Gonna take that as a no. Cool. Sounds good. I do know that the Linux, the LFX internships like announced their interns. I guess that we don't have any in there though. Cool. I think we're good to move on that then. Contributor comps.
Hi. At least there's two of us here, right? Like
there are two of us, but I like starting with you because I have to switch my brain gears.
Right. So we did a whole bunch of not a whole bunch, but a amount of social media around the legacy package repos freezing and eventually going away.
More on that.
Yeah, there's some on the schedule still, so I think we're good there. But feel free to take a look. We discussed in the last meeting other social networks. There is a Kubernetes group. So on LinkedIn, might be interesting to just post things there, see how it goes, kind of thing.
We can figure out who owns that. That was an action item we took.
And it's actually like on the page. I felt really dumb when
it is?
Look. Yeah, It's like admins. It's like 1, 2, done. And I'm actually connected to one of them. So yeah, this should be easy. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll talk about it in the next meeting. But yes, we can give them a heads up if we want. I can facilitate that communication if necessary. Chasm's going to be out like the month of October is basically how I'm reading this. 13th, 20th, maybe also the 27th. So bravo, go have fun.
Yeah, I'm going to be out on vacation for the month before KubeCon. So if anyone needs anything from me, make sure that we know about it and get that sorted.
So, yeah, tweet planning has begun for KubeCon as well, and LWKD is using our Slack channel, and it's been fun watching it, to be honest with you, Josh.
Good reminder that I need to do KubeCon tweet planning. And make that its own thing. All right, so lots of things going on in comms. Also, we have our usual projects of SIG spotlights ongoing, and as usual, we have a good number of students in our group who are quite the adventuresome, ambitious bunch.
Yeah.
Any questions? Yep.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it was in the meeting last week, right? That where 2 of the people that were in the meeting got LFX internships. Was pretty awesome. So yeah, that was really cool to share.
And also one of our, 2 of our members, me and one other person, are also working on steering committee comms or steering election comms. So we've got lots of projects going on.
All sorts of stuff.
Any questions about any of that from anyone?
Not a question, but something else that will be on the radar soon is with etcd now being officially a Kubernetes SIG. There's going to be some comms coming out of etcd that we will probably want to boost and potentially like actually put something on the main Kubernetes blog, not just kates.dev. probably just like mirror the post or something.
Yeah. Ray that's okay, right? Like we can mirror.
Yeah,
dev.
that actually happens.
Yeah,
not often, but it does happen.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time it did happen. That's why I was asking.
And blogs usually get published first on .dev, then we can mirror on .com or .io.
Yeah.
For this one, we'd probably like let them publish on the etcd blog, and then
perfect.
But that will probably start ramping up next week. I've been going through with some of them on basically a checklist of like, okay, now that we're a SIG, what do we do?
Nice.
Excited for all of that to start getting sorted out and see those folks around.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, Bob, is this going to become like a pattern, do you think? Or
no,
this is just a one-off kind of deal, I think, because of staffing.
Yeah. So like etcd was previously a Kubernetes project.
Mm-hmm.
I started under CoreOS. CoreOS donated to Kubernetes. That might have been with the Red Hat acquisition. I don't remember. But then there was enough people at the time interested in etcd that they wanted to spin out and be their own thing. And now they're coming back.
Yeah, and there was a complete and total change of maintainership in the meantime.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. That's good context.
So, and really, there's still arguments either way, but our lead maintainer, Marek, is also a Kubernetes contributor, and when he's working on etcd, he really misses the infrastructure that we have for contributions and releases and everything else. Sure. And that was the main reason for sort of deciding to come back to Kubernetes.
Makes total sense.
Now he doesn't have to.
Yep. And we have like the SRC, we have the COCC, we have a bunch of support, like just broad level support. I like last time I looked at the like etcd IO org members, at least half of them were already Kubernetes org members.
Yeah. It was like a Venn diagram that almost looks like two complete circles. Yeah.
I'd have to look to find somebody who's not a Kubernetes contributor who works on etcd.
I should say like already an org member. So it's
you might find people in there who are lapsed org members. But they have been at some time. The nice thing is that from the time that Marek posted his call for help a year and a half ago, we built back up the etcd contributor base. Not that we couldn't always use more contributors, but at this point we have like 8 or 10 reviewer level contributors. So it's no longer a project in danger of falling off a cliff. But the weird thing about it is going to be that we do have like 20% of our user base that uses etcd for things that are not Kubernetes. That set of use cases still exists.
And there are other things that aren't in Kate's that aren't used for other things for Kubernetes. So
yeah.
But that said, one of the things that we talked about is that the test coverage that we do have for etcd, which we really want to improve, and getting access to test grid was one of the reasons for coming back. We really only actually routinely test the functionality that Kubernetes uses. Like there are features that Kubernetes doesn't use of etcd, and they don't really have automated testing.
Oh.
Yeah. So like we did a user survey where we asked about one in particular that we actually kind of wanted to get rid of to find out if anybody was using it, because we're like, we don't know that this actually works. Is anybody using this? Turns out the answer was yes. So we can't get rid of that particular feature. Or if we do, it's going to need to be phased out over the course of a while.
Yeah.
So
the other big thing I know, they wanted to adopt KEPs or a KEP-like process for themselves. just because we especially with like PRR, the production readiness review, that is something they lack, and having like a lot of the people in API machinery have like good foundational knowledge of how, what the edge cases would be if something is being implemented. So it's just a better, pool of experts.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not one of the leads for the new SIG, but I am heavily involved. So, because none of the leads for the new SIG, well, all of them contributed to Kubernetes. None of them have been a SIG lead before.
Oh.
Merrick's been at least a working group lead.
Yeah. Okay.
On I think structured logging.
Yeah.
Lots of exciting stuff going on with etcd joining the project.
Anyway, they've been invited to the Contributor Summit. They've already submitted a couple of potential sessions, or at least Merrick tells me that they have. And we have a checklist. One thing to know is that their list of org members is not a complete listing of the major contributors. That the org membership process for etcd was a new thing. And then, when the project decided that they were going to try to become a SIG, we kind of halted trying to get people to sign up for it, because we're going to now get them to sign up for Kubernetes org membership. So do expect several org membership requests related to etcd now that it's a SIG. Although, as Bob pointed out, not very many, because most people are org members already.
Ooh.
Oh, right. And I need to file a ticket with DevStats. Well, actually, I guess it's one of the questions is, how do we want etcd to be represented in DevStats?
Yeah.
Honestly,
I need to first ask the team and then file a ticket. Yeah.
My best guess would actually be both. It's not hard for them to potentially add etcd to Kubernetes.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be good just for, I think, historical reasons to also have that be its own thing, because it's still going to be listed as its own project at the CNCF level. So I don't know. I think just bringing it into being additive to Kubernetes is the way to go.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh. Yeah, and there'll be a whole bunch of little stuff, like maybe changing the Slack channel name and all these other things. But like etcd's primary Slack channel was on Kubernetes Slack anyway. So we'd just be changing it from etcd to SIG etcd.
Lots of interesting little things that are going to have to happen around the project for this.
Yeah.
Interesting to see.
It's going to take a while for it to fully transition over, but
yeah. The big bit of work is for the GitHub admins, because we need to get all of that under the Kubernetes system. Which was one of the desired features in becoming a SIG again, because again, no ownership management tools as an independent project. But the repos are not currently set up to use Kubernetes owners files, so we'll need to clean that up, and then put it under prow.
Yeah, and we can start with handing it adding the GitHub admins, and then at least enabling easy CLA, and that can be done without prow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That reminds me. I never got an answer on whether or not we need to hunt down old contributors and get them to sign the CLA. I think the answer is no.
Nope.
But I didn't get a definitive answer from from CNCF Legal.
I can say, like, we have done this before. It's not required.
The answer is no. Okay, good. Because I mean, for our current contributors, I think all of them are already Kubernetes CLA signatories, but we've had people in the past who are not. So and etcd, well, it was an independent project, was DCO, which is something I would love Kubernetes to be, but because easy CLA is such a pain.
Yeah.
Poor Bob.
Yeah.
Go get a hug.
and my org is a sixth the size of yours, so the
Adventures in Legal Land.
It's like the worst cartoon ever.
Would be, wouldn't it? Okay. Shall we move on from etcd? We can always talk more about it at the end. There's a lot of interesting stuff there. I feel like we covered a lot of it, though. All right, let's move on to our next agenda item, which is contributor documentation. Anything new there? Any news on the new contributor? We're aiming to have it by KubeCon, right?
Maybe.
All right,
Hopefully.
still aiming for that.
Theoretically.
All right.
Cool.
Good. We bring it up in every comms meeting, so we're ready if it happens.
Yeah.
Just keeping an eye out. All right. We'll move on to moderation and media. Anyone here for that today?
I don't think there's any updates there.
Yeah. I know a couple of weeks ago, Nigel was trying to track down an issue from with Zoom to YouTube. There's some issue in that workflow that wasn't working quite right. I don't know if you ever tracked that down. I should probably check in with him on that.
Yeah.
I don't
I
even
meant to
remember
ask him
exactly
on
what the issue
Monday,
was.
but I was off on Monday and completely forgot about the meeting. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was. Well, that was about the contributor summit anyway, right? So
Right.
I think some issue with the auto upload. I'll try to remember to check in with Nigel on that. I'll write it down.
Yeah, I'll ping him.
Okay.
Where we left
That'd
off.
work. Appreciate that. Let's move on then. GitHub management. Updates there?
Not yet. Sounds like they're gonna have a bunch.
Yeah. Welcome back, Laura. Cool. I think I saw an email about, I don't know, adding, I guess nothing important there. All right, then moving on from GitHub management to elections. We've already, I mentioned that the comms folks are working on stuff for the steering election. I didn't mention that in more detail. We are wrapping up those comms really because the voting is going to end at the end of this month. September 26th, I think, is the last day to vote. 23rd is the last day for exceptions. So we've got several comms going out about those end dates. And then there'll be what do we call those? Is it postmortem? It's not postmortem. We'll do like a recap of the retro. There we go. Thank you. Words. We'll do we'll do a retro at the beginning of October, October 4th, before I am out. So the steering election will be wrapped up by the end of the first week of October. Any questions or comments about steering election or any other election stuff?
Not a question, but like in your companies, if you have a large contributor base, please send a reminder. Like no like saying vote for this person, but you can say, hey, the election is going on. Please go vote.
Put it on my to-do list to remind folks at Google about that. With the I wrote that on my to-do list as G election, which I'm amused by.
It's also on my to-do list.
One of us, or together with our powers combined, we'll get it done. It's a good reminder. Any other election stuff? Josh, any like sub-project election stuff? Probably not right now.
Not really. I mean, at this point, once the current election team has the retro and does whatever updates to the docs that they have, this is effectively the first election that is being run completely off of the docs, aside from a little, one-on-one initial setup help. So at that point, we should be in a pretty good position of, hey, we're in a position now where, any sufficiently trusted group of org members can run the election. The longer term thing would be work on Electo. So particularly if anybody knows somebody who's eager to work on testing for a Python project, I could use their help. Because the big holdup on a list of requests for Electo improvements is that our test coverage is very poor.
I just had an idea, maybe asking the other Noah, who's heavily involved in the Python community.
Yeah.
If someone there might be interested.
Yeah, I actually put something out. Yeah, I tried working with like LFX and stuff, but the problem is that there I get mostly students, and schools just don't teach testing. So
you should make a post about it and potentially even put it on. Would it be worthwhile to put on the CNCF jobs board? Hey, we need this. Like, is this the kind of thing that we could put in other avenues?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. The one thing, like if it's someone that's familiar with Python, it's realistically like probably a day's worth of work.
I think it would be more than a day, but I don't actually, like, for somebody who has experience working on Flask, I wouldn't say it would be more than 2 weeks. And 2 weeks part-time, right? Because some of it is like, we need, one of the areas we have no testing at all is we have no automated testing for the container image. And that's what's actually tripped us up a number of times, is that I've had subtle issues with the container image build.
So
yeah,
Josh, just to ask, like, so this is a Python Flask system?
Yep. Yeah, so there should be lots of people out there who can help.
I mean, well, Python's actually my specialty, so do you want me to look at it?
Sure.
I might have time. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we just need reasonable test coverage so that I and other people can work on some of the features and know that we haven't broken it without doing a whole bunch of manual testing, which is what we're doing right now.
And
okay.
I'd say
I'll
one
get the
biggest
link from you.
Yeah.
The one biggest feature, if you're also interested in it, is getting rid of case sensitivity in the GitHub handles.
Yeah. And that's a big one, because the GitHub handle comparison is distributed in like 60 different functions. And so there's no way we fix that without much better test coverage.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I will take a look.
Cool. Okay. We'll chat. We move on to other business.
And that was our last item of the main agenda. We do have a couple of open mic discussion topics, from Bob.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update on the mailing list migration. Unfortunately, we got through one blocker to discover another blocker. Before, we were not able to export lists of a certain size, and that has been resolved. However, the importing users feature is hard locked at the mailing list level to only allow 100 people added to it per 24 hours. Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're multiple different owner. That's the limit. And I sort of understand the reasons why, to try and avoid some of the spam stuff that happens that way. There are two ways we can move forward with this. One is, as the G Suite owner for Kubernetes.io, there is another mass import method in there that gets around the restriction. However, that does require it to be one of SC 1, 2, or 3 to do it. That's not terrible, because essentially this is a one-shot migration, theoretically. We get through our list of SIGs, and then we're never having to do it again. The other method, and which sort of is similar to what we do right now, is we have essentially our current groups script, not script, but little tool that does it, and hack that up, and you basically launch it in a pod that has access to the secret to be able to do these. That's essentially what Christoph did to migrate KDev itself. This would just be to make it a bit more repeatable. But I'm honestly not sure it's worth the dev effort when it's something that both me and Nabrun are SC account holders. We just divide up the SIGs and be like, okay, we're doing this now, and go that route. But we're talking about it, and we'll figure it out.
It's good to see all the projects across the community where we're moving things to community-owned things. We've got mailing lists, we've got the package repos, we've got registry.
Oh, the registry.
The one thing I should figure out at some point is what the sort of workflow is, and then share somewhere it's obvious of, hey, I want to create document X that needs to belong to the community. Like for me, I end up helping with a lot of surveys, right? How do I make sure? And for those, it's actually kind of critically important that they belong to Kubernetes.io, because otherwise we have no way to make sure that, say, the data expires. And that's one of the reasons why we've been pushing people towards CNCF SurveyMonkey, but that has its own problems. Not the least of which is that only 2 of our community members can have access to it. So it'd be nice to use Google Docs more, but I need a workflow where somebody requests a survey and they get a survey that's actually owned by our account and not by their personal account.
So that is currently possible with the ContribEx shared drive. As long as it's created in the ContribEx shared drive, we're good on ownership.
Oh, cool.
What I would like to do long term, this does involve discussion with steering, is we just create either one giant shared drive for all the SIGs, or each SIG gets its own shared drive, and that just becomes the default location for everybody to save their stuff. Because it doesn't matter if you're a corporate user, if the document is saved, or you right click create, as long as it's saved in that shared drive, we don't have to worry about the owner permissions problems that we've had. It just has to be created there first.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I'd like to have more project's able to officially use Google Docs, because there's some advantages, not the least. The biggest of which is whatever team is producing the survey actually has direct access to the survey. And that's been the main stumbling block. We used to say it was prohibitive because China has uneven access to Google Docs, but it turns out that China has uneven access to SurveyMonkey as well. So there's no advantage. There's no advantage for SurveyMonkey anymore. It's not even particularly CNCF branded when you actually look at the surveys.
And honestly, it these days it really kind of sucks.
Can't say I've used one recently, to be honest with you.
SurveyMonkey does have some features that the Google surveys don't, but you have to know how to use them. And most of the time, for the kind of surveys we do, they're not needed.
It's like if you want the multi-workflow type thing, yeah, sure.
Oh no, we don't have that. That's a higher level of account, actually.
Great.
They added SurveyMonkey added more account levels. And
that used to be part of our account level.
And no, because we actually specifically looked at that when they took it away, because we wanted it for a specific survey. And we talked to the CNCF and they looked at SurveyMonkey stuff, and it would have, I think it literally would have been something like a $6,000 elevation in the cost of the account in order to get access to that feature. And we're just like, no. Just run 3 different surveys. Don't even try to do that. So there's not any huge advantage to using SurveyMonkey anymore, except that we have a central account, and therefore I can make sure that we're GDPR compliant. But if we get everything on the ContribEx drive, we can do the same thing.
Solving problems. Go team.
Yay.
I have a tangential question about G Suite and the mailing list. Going back a few minutes, did we ever figure out the searchability issue that came up like 3 or 4 weeks ago?
No, well, I should say, like, I've not looked more into it personally. It's so weird because like it works just fine for one, doesn't for the other. And I did look at the settings and they looked identical. So I don't know if it's like a caching thing or what, but it works for one but doesn't for the other. Or
Perfect.
At least last time I checked.
But we did go through the settings, so that means that's
a
deeper problem somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Oh.
Hey, Nigel.
Nigel appears.
Nigel.
Oh, sorry, I had overlap.
Yeah, you know.
You're good, man.
Was there any questions for me?
Mainly, we were just excited to see you, but there was one question.
Oh, nice.
What's up with the G Drive access and automation stuff?
Yeah, it seems like things kind of evened out on their own. Which
weird. Of course.
Yeah, but there's like the thing, right, that problems that go away on their own, come back on their own. But all of the automation so far is working. Redoing the SIG ContribEx, like I've seen those videos show up. Working group LTS is working. SIG Docs is working. I haven't seen a SIG infra meeting pop up since I asked them to turn off the auto record. So either they haven't had a meeting or they forgot to turn the recording on. But yeah, right now things seem to be like smooth.
Cool. That's great to hear, because I had no idea what was wrong with it before.
Yeah, I mean, same as I think maybe it was just a bunch of people went on holiday and like weren't having meetings, and then I got a little concerned because I wasn't seeing uploads happening. So there's a lot of explanations, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened.
Zapier does weird things sometimes. I'll just say that. Like, as a long-time user of Zapier, I get at least 5 or 6 error messages a week.
Well,
I mean, Zapier's been solid. It's the Splain stuff that has been giving me pause. Zapier's been solid, except for messing up our one Zap for the SIG ContribEx meetings, but creating the new one seems to resolve that. So we'll just keep an eye on it.
I think what Zoom pushed out a client or there was some update to Zoom, and like everything had to re-authenticate.
Oh, that did it.
And I'm pretty sure that's probably what disconnected Zapier.
Got it. It was weird because it only disconnected on the SIG ContribEx channel. The other ones were ticking over just fine. But we're probably at a place to start onboarding some more groups onto Zapier. I'm in a little bit of a crunch right now, so I'm hesitant to offer that service until after Open Source Summit is over.
Awesome. Cool. That was our one question for you. I'm glad that we got an update on that because that's very interesting.
Done.
Great.
All right. Any other items for discussion? We've got about 10 minutes left, and we've already been through our whole agenda. We've had some really interesting discussions today about etcd joining the project as a SIG, and also about surveys,
I put something on there. I put something on there that I wanted to discuss, which was, do we as ContribEx, should we be proposing anything for the Contributor Summit schedule? Is there anything we should be doing? Any team meetings we should be having? Any, for that matter, any workshops, right? Should we be doing another contributor site workshop, for example?
I think we were saying we were interested in doing that again.
Yeah. I know I said I was very interested, and my attendance may be subject to further decision. So we'll see.
There is something else that Christoph actually ran, I think back in 2019. That was very successful. We have it recorded. But considering the influx of new people, it might be worth doing again. It's like Git for Kubernetes. And all the, like, you can go find the recording. But it was a very useful talk.
Okay.
I'm sure
I'd be very interested in helping with that.
Yeah,
okay.
that would be
yeah, I think we should
Right.
absolutely do that and have things changed with like, or I know there's a lot of talk about the dev container stuff, and I'm wondering as well, if there's any sort of tie-ins that we could do there.
The dev container is still not merged, at least to my knowledge, and I think Craig actually submitted a talk about it in the CFP. So even if it's so there's other motivation besides it trying to get done for KubeCon. It's the fact that he has a talk submitted about it.
Yeah, that's super fair. But that would be a good one to submit. Who is going to be the speakers on the Git for Kubernetes?
Christoph did the last one. I think we just can poke him and see if he wants to do it again.
I'd be interested in helping out if he wants assistance. Except that I'm going to be gone for the month before the event, so that might not work out. But I'd like to offer anyway.
Minor detail.
Gotta love the volunteering, but I won't be here, but I'm gonna volunteer anyway. Yay! Go on vacation. Just go on vacation and enjoy it.
Fine.
Speaking of overcommitted, that's all.
Oh. We had another thing for the agenda there. Any other ContribEx sessions for the Contributor Summit that we think we need?
So I will say that I'm trying to get there was interest a couple weeks ago in finally getting the non-code project re-rolling again with enough people showing interest. and I'm trying to put together a doodle to get some people working on that. And I was thinking of putting a session together, but I'm probably going to do it through the unconference instead of through the CFP, because I think it would make way more sense that way.
Also, Bob added a link to the past Git for Kubernetes session, it looks like.
Oh, I need that. Thank you.
Likewise.
Okay,
Sorry,
so
I've probably watched it like 5 times, but yes.
yeah. So okay, so but we can propose both of these things. I think I'd like to propose a contributor site hack session.
Sure.
As well. The do you need to do GitHub admins want to have a team meeting or anything? Have you already proposed that? Or do you think there's no point?
I don't think there's a point.
Okay.
I'm happy to solicit more help with the YouTube channel, because I've been the only one who's been taking stuff live for a while, but I don't know if that's like worth a whole like session, because it'll take me 3 minutes to show people how to do it.
Hey,
call it a hacking session and say, like, if you're interested in helping with it, you come, you get to play with it, you get to work on it, and then maybe people can pick up some of the projects. Like the contributor summit session, the contributor site session we did last time was completely me going, I have no idea why we proposed this, and my name somehow ended up on it. So I literally just stood up there and said, here's the repo. Good luck.
There's broken things.
And let them go run with it. And they did. And so it was great. But
yeah,
that's all it really takes.
That's super fair, but like the YouTube is a little different because of like the trust position, because like they have to like
that's fair.
the whole YouTube channel.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it might be worth having a general sort of pitch session, something like before the steering AMA, where like anybody can come up and give a 30-second pitch for contributor help that they need.
Nigel, sign me up to help you with YouTube stuff, by the way.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just thinking, normally for open spaces for like DevOps days, you go up and you pitch your idea for your unconference session, like for your open spaces session.
Which is also going to happen. But
yeah, I'm just saying, like, just toss it in with that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Like intersperse it, just a line of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I would merge the two together, because then you'll get some people going. Was that for today or was that for later?
Oh, that's fair.
That's a good point.
But
yeah. I can just request a ContribEx working session and go from there.
So I'll propose the pitch session, which will happen sort of out of band for the CFP, because it would be special. And I can go ahead and propose another contributor site working session. And does somebody else want to take on putting in the Git for Kubernetes contributors?
I can reach out to Christoph.
Yeah, the thing is, you can put it in the CFP.
Oh, you just pinged him? Okay, good.
Okay, and you can put it in the CFP ahead of actually having somebody to lead it.
Right.
Because like one of the things we say for the CFP is you can completely propose things you want to see.
That's fair.
Particularly if you can support them, even if you can't run them.
Awesome. So we've got 2 sessions that we're going to submit to the Contributor Summit CFP, the working session and the Git for Kubernetes, probably.
And one that we won't, because it'll be sort of a special schedule niche.
Cool. And we've got 3 minutes left in our meeting. Any last minute items? All right. I think we'll close things up then. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you everyone for joining today.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Later.
Bye.